Hey there, and welcome. Today, we're diving into a really powerful shift in thinking, one that can take you from feeling completely stuck to achieving a kind of unstoppable success and, more importantly, real fulfillment. So let's get right into it. So let me ask you something. Have you ever had one of those days or weeks where you feel stuck? You know exactly what you should be doing. Go to the gym, work on that business plan, make that important phone call. You have the list. But for some reason, you just don't. It's so frustrating, right? Well, that feeling almost always comes down to one single thing. And that one thing is your mindset. Now, here's a great way to think about it. Your brain, that's the hardware. It's this incredibly powerful piece of equipment. But your mindset, that's the software. It's the operating system that's running on the hardware. It's the sum of all your beliefs, your attitudes, and it's the lens that colors how you see everything, whether you see a challenge as a massive threat or an amazing opportunity. So here's our game plan for today. First, we're going to talk about something called the results trap, why we get stuck in the first place. Then we'll look at the huge mindset shift that winners make. After that, we'll dive deep into what's called the being sensation, which is your internal source of power. And finally, I'll give you a practical daily toolkit to put all this into action. Okay, let's start with the big problem. Why do we get stuck? Why do we feel like we're just spinning our wheels, putting in all this effort but getting absolutely nowhere? Well, it's often because we've fallen into what's called the results trap. You've probably been in this cycle. We feel a little down, maybe our confidence is low. So what do? We decide to learn a new skill, or we just try to get busier, hoping that'll make us feel better. And it might work for a little while. We get this temporary high. But then, inevitably, we hit that same wall and we're right back where we started, stuck. And here it is. This is the absolute root of the problem. For most of us, our confidence, our self-worth, it's all chained to external results. Think about that. We're basically handing over our power to things we can't always control, letting outside events dictate how we feel inside. This wiring starts so early. Just think back to school. You get an A on a test, you feel great, you're smart. You get an F, and you feel like a failure. It's the same in sports. You win, you feel amazing. But one bad performance, man, that can totally overshadow a personal best and leave you feeling completely defeated. We are literally trained to measure our value by our performance. And this quote, wow, this just shows how damaging that can be. This was actually said by a swimming coach to a 13-year-old kid. Can you imagine being told at 13 that you're done, that you've peaked? This is exactly what happens when our potential is defined by what other people think of our results. It's devastating. Okay, but here's the good news. There is a completely different way to operate. So let's get into the game-changing realization, this mindset shift that truly separates the highest achievers from everyone else. See, winners just don't play by those same rules. Their internal operating system is totally different. They're not sitting around waiting for a good result to feel confident. No way. They generate that confidence from the inside out. They start from a place of power before they even take the first step. And this slide right here, this is the whole thing in a nutshell. Most of the world operates on the have, do, be model. We think, when I have the results, then I'll do the things, and then I'll finally be happy and fulfilled. But winners flip that script completely. They start with be. They decide who they need to be first, which then drives them to do the right things, which almost as a side effect lets them have the results they want. It's a total reversal. So what in the world is this being state? I know it can sound a little abstract, but I promise you it is a very real, very tangible experience. So let's talk about this being sensation, because it is your true internal source of power. Being is not some fuzzy idea. It is a physical sensation. It's that feeling you get when you are firing on all cylinders, when you are at your absolute best. You know that feeling, right? When you just know you're making a difference, when all your strengths and skills just click into place. It's a feeling that's kind of hard to put into words, but you know it when you feel it. That is the experience of fulfilling your potential. And once you can identify that sensation, you can look back and see other times you felt it. And more importantly, you can start to practice calling it up in the present. So how do we connect with this state on purpose? Well, first, you have to really know your strengths. What truly energizes you? What are your non-negotiable values? Second, you have to embody your vision. Use physical anchors, things you can see and touch, like a vision board or even old medals. These aren't just decorations, they are daily reminders that help you feel your purpose. And finally, you take that powerful feeling and you channel it into a strategic plan with real, concrete action steps. All right, so connecting with that being state is a huge step, but the real secret is making it last. And that's where your daily success toolkit comes in. This is about rewiring your brain to live in that peak state more and more often. You've probably heard this quote before, but it is the perfect mindset for this. We're not looking for a one-and-done fix here. What we're doing is building a new way of life, where success isn't some far-off destination you arrive at, but a process you engage in every single day. And here is the tool that makes that happen, the 5 degrees of success. It's a really simple but powerful way to see success everywhere, every day. Because success isn't just about hitting the final goal, right? It's also about the actions you took, the insights you learned, the skills you sharpened along the way, and, this is a big one, the mistakes you identified. Yeah, let's just pause on that last one. Recognizing your mistakes as a success, that is a massive, massive reframe. Why? Because a mistake is just data. It's pure information. It's what allows us to learn, to see things differently, and to course correct. A mistake isn't a failure. It's literally the key that unlocks progress. So here's your new daily practice. It's simple. Every single day, you are going to physically write down 5 successes. They can be big, they can be small, personal, professional, doesn't matter. The point is to acknowledge wins from all 5 of those levels we just talked about. And yes, the key is to physically write them down. This simple act reinforces that be-to-have mindset and builds incredible momentum day by day. So as we wrap up here, I want to leave you with this question. Thinking about those 5 degrees, the outcome, the action, the insight, the skill, or even the mistake you learned from, what is the very first success you are going to celebrate today?